Oi, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, we're back on Rugby League 26 with a highly requested tips and tricks. Now, as someone that's played a lot of Rugby League Live 4, the controls have somewhat transitioned over, but there are changes that have been made, and I actually wasn't aware of this on release day, and it kind of messed up with my timings. So these tips and tricks aren't necessarily groundbreaking per se. It's just more of an understanding of how to play the game to have a better experience. That isn't just a pass, sidestep type of playstyle. I've always said this about Rugby League Live 4, and now this game, the game is more enjoyable when you play somewhat like a proper game of footy. You know, use your big boys to smash your way through the middle of the field, using the right stick, R3 to bump, and just hold R3 forward, and contact to make post-contact meters. So breaking down certain areas of the game, we will be starting with passing. There's three types of passes. One, your normal, just regular pass to the person next to you, which is LB or RB. And two types of targeted passing. A flat targeted pass and a deep targeted pass. Flat being faster and more ideal, which has the potential of floating forward and getting intercepted. And the deep pass being a more safe option, but I believe does travel slower. So the best time to use these targeted passing is with your dummy half at the ruck. And the biggie is to pay attention to the running lines and try to use them to your advantage. Now, you don't always have to use them when they pop up, but if you do, I suggest just to not sprint while trying to perform those moves. So taking this knowledge with you and applying it to your gameplay, when running through set plays, you're most likely going to be using a couple of these different passes in certain situations. So to put players through holes using short balls, you'd want to throw a flat pass or just a regular pass. If you see players standing deep on a set play, you can wait for them to run onto the ball and then throw a flat pass, or you could hit them straight away with a deep pass. Just knowing when to use these passes in certain situations is going to help you a lot. Now, as we go into gameplay, I do have some general tips for you to keep in mind when you're actually playing the game. One is don't try to score or don't try to break the line with every play. Two is don't always hold sprints. You can actually mess around with your player speeds when running with ball in hand. It'll help you a lot with drawing and passing. I've often seen people say you can't draw and pass in the game, or that it's too hard, when the reality is certain moments call for a draw and pass. If you were able to just draw and pass with ease, that's all the game would be. So that's pretty much it for passing. Just play around with the pass types, try not to use sprint as much. Moving on to a biggie. People have been struggling with this a lot, and that is general play kicking. Honestly, there's only one thing you need to know when it comes to kicking in general in this game, and that is you have to have in mind what type of kick you want to do before your kicker actually touches the ball. Ideally, you want to be holding L2 as the ball is leaving the ruck. So way before Luai is touching the ball, I'm already holding L2 and what kick type I'm going for, whether it be a punt downfield, a bomb. Just know what you want to do and press it early. In red zone situations like that earlier Nathan Cleary clip, don't sprint when you have ball in hand. You have a better chance of getting the kickoff if you just run normally and do whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it be a grubber kick or a chip kick. Going back to what I said of passes and paying attention to running lines, you can use those lines as chases for your kicks. There's a lot you can do, but yeah, for the most part, with kicking in general, press the buttons early. And lastly, for defense, there really isn't much to say or give tips on. The biggest tip, to not spam the dive tackle. You only really want to use the dive when you are chasing someone down. It'll sometimes result in an ankle tap or make them stumble, or very rarely you'd trigger a legs tackle from behind. That's really the only time you should be using it. It's not like Rugby League Live 3 or Rugby 08 even, when you could just spam the dive tackle and you would always make that tackle 100% of the time. That's not the case with this game. At least that's not how it should be used. The bread and butter for defending in this game really is just the controlled movement, which is, as you can see here, LT or L2 on PlayStation. Pretty much hold L2, use the controlled movement, and if you can trigger like a driving tackle, or you want to try to, you want to point towards the defender, and it's not working right now, but what you do is square up and use the right analog stick to drive them back, or click the right analog stick to put on a big hit. So make a break here. I was going to go for a dive, but he already got tackled. That's pretty much the ins and outs, the basics of the game. For those that are struggling on the lower levels, try to apply some of the tips here and you should be able to find a bit of success. You should be able to put together some creative plays. Obviously, don't forget to mix in your old evasive maneuvers, your sidesteps, fins, bumps. In my opinion, for a more fun, challenging experience, try to not to use them and try to break the line initially with some nice ball playing, at least when playing against AI. It's a different story when you're playing against another player online, although these rules still kind of apply. You can actually tear people apart online just with ball playing. Hopefully they do turn down the success rate of sidesteps and bumps and stuff like that. At the moment, online play, the meta is pretty much sidestepping. Next up, we will be diving into the career mode, our very first series. We'll go live on Monday. Until then, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to run it straight at the like button. And if you want to see more Rugby League related content or content in general, go ahead and drop the boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.